how much I spent on my recent 5-day trip to Kuala Lumpur. My first expense was taking a taxi from the airport to the Grand Hyatt. Somehow I ended up with an airport limousine taxi, which was 233 ringgit, or about $52. You can get this for about a third of the price if you get a budget taxi. Next, I checked into the Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur. I didn't use money for this. I used Hyatt points. I used 81,000 Hyatt points for 6 nights, but if I would have paid for it, it would have been 5,176 ringgit, or 1,158 US dollars. The next morning, I took a taxi to the KL Tower for 8 ringgit, or 2 US dollars. I then went up to the KL Tower for 110 ringgit, $25, with an amazing view from up here. But to make that view even better, I went into the skybox for an additional 10 ringgit, or 2 US dollars. I then bought the photos that they took in the skybox for 195 ringgit, or 43 US dollars. I then went into the KL Eco Forest Park for an admission price of 40 ringgit, or $9. I was thirsty, so I got a soybean juice in a can for 250 ringgit, or about 50 cents US. I then had 2 bottles of tea at Family Mart because I was still thirsty. That was 10 ringgit, or 2 US dollars. For lunch, I went to the Duck King in the Lot 10 Hutong food court. I got the barbecue meat combo with rice for 23 ringgit, or $5. Later, I was on Jalan Alor Food Street, and I got some coconut juice in a bottle for 5 ringgit, or 1 US dollar. I had dinner at the KL Pavilion Mall at Madam Kwan's. I had the iced tea tarek for 650 ringgit, a curry laksa for 21 ringgit. As a sit-down restaurant, they also added 10% service charge and 6% sales tax, totaling to 32 ringgit, or 7 US dollars. I also had tangerine juice a little later out in the street for 7 ringgit, or $1.50. The next morning, I took a grab to the National Museum, 38 ringgit, 8 US dollars. It was high demand, being New Year's Day. Entrance to the National Museum was 5 ringgit, or $1. After the National Museum, I walked over to the National Mosque. Admission there, free. I then went to the Bird Park, the world's largest walk-in aviary. Admission price 85 ringgit, or $19. I was hungry, so I ate at their Hornbill Cafe. I got the Malaysian fried noodles, 30 ringgit, and a coconut, 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit total, or 11 US dollars. The highlight of probably the day was the picture I took with the parrots at the bird park, 40 ringgit, or 9 US dollars. After the bird park, I went to the butterfly park. Admission there was 30 ringgit, or 7 US dollars. This was disappointing in comparison to the bird park. I took a grab back to the Hyatt that was decorated with some cute little stuffies for 14 ringgit, or 3 US dollars. I then went over to the Twin Towers Sky Bridge and Observatory that I bought the tickets in advance, 98 ringgit, or 21 US dollars. Souvenir magnet of the Petronas Towers, 12 ringgit. The next day, day number 3, I took a premium grab for 120 ringgit to the Genting Premier Outlets. This was 27 US dollars. I had to take the more expensive grab because one wouldn't show up, and the second one called me and said their car is too old and wouldn't take the drive. So when I actually get there, I had to upgrade to a more expensive grab that apparently their car was able to handle the drive up the mountain. Once I got there, I bought a round-trip Skyway ticket on the Awana Skyway, 32 ringgit, or 7 US dollars. I wanted to see the Ching Sui Caves Temple, but the escalator down there was broken, so they were running shuttles. The line was really long for the free shuttles, so I paid 5 ringgit to take a taxi down to the temple, $1. Admission to the temple, free! But then once I was done with the temple, I took a taxi back to the Skyway, same driver, 5 ringgit, $1. For lunch up at the top of Genting Resorts World, I had lunch at the First World Hotel Lobby Cafe. This is the world's largest hotel, and the Lobby Cafe lunch was 20 ringgit total, 16 for the nasi lemak, and 4 for the tea tarek. Up here, they've got a couple theme parks. I went into the Genting Skyworlds theme park. It's the outdoor one, 198 ringgit admission fee, or 44 US dollars. To ride the rides, I needed to stow my stuff, so I needed to rent a locker for 4 hours, or 20 ringgit, or 5 US dollars. After the theme park, in the mall, I had a choggy tea, 20 ringgit, 5 US dollars. To get back after exploring Resorts World, I took a grab back to the Kuala Lumpur city center. There were surge fees. It was 160 ringgit on the cheapest grab to get back to the city, that was 35 US dollars. Chris, why didn't you take the bus? All the buses were sold out, but if you want to take the bus and they're not sold out, those are 10 ringgit each way from the city to Genting Resorts World. Much cheaper. I then had dinner at the Four Seasons Shop's basement food hall. I had a Batu Caves set, 25 ringgit, and a big lime juice, 5 ringgit. Total 30 ringgit or 7 US dollars. Day number 4, fellow explorer Zach Rossi was showing me around today, so we took his car to the Batu Caves. Parking there was 3 ringgit or less than 1 US dollar. Entry to the Batu Caves was free, so was the price to watch the monkeys. The next cave, Ramayana Cave, had an admission fee, 15 ringgit or 3 US dollars. For lunch, we had some satay and drinks. This is the price for 2 people. That was 45 ringgit or 10 US dollars. We went to the Royal Selangor Pewter Factory tour. That was free and even included a free drink. For a midday snack, I had an ice chendol with durian, the most premium durian. This was 40 ringgit or 9 US dollars. For dinner, we had chicken rice. The chicken rice dinner for 2 was 78 ringgit or 17 US dollars. Day number 5, the 5th and final day, back solo again. I took the monorail to KL Central Station, 3 ringgit, less than 1 US dollar. For lunch, I ate at the new Central Shopping Mall food court, had a Hokkien mee for 12 ringgit and a soybean drink for 15 ringgit. Total 17 ringgit or 4 US dollars. I then took a train to the TRX Mall, or the Samsung Galaxy Station, as they call it. The whole MRT station was branded by Samsung Galaxy, but the price to that was 2 ringgit. Should have been cheaper for the branding, but wasn't. Samsung. Why don't you subsidize the train fees? You totally should. Anyway, that was 50 cents. At the TRX Mall, I had a matcha, 20 ringgit, 4 US dollars. Later, I walked over to Bukit Bintang, the city's central hub, again for shopping and entertainment. For dinner, I ate at Shawarma Street. I had the mixed plate of shawarma, beef, and chicken. Huge plate of food, 32 ringgit, and a mango drink, 15 ringgit. 10% service charge, 52 ringgit total or 11 US dollars. To get to the airport in my final morning, I had a really early flight. I didn't want to have to deal with grabs canceling me, things like that, to be there late. So I reserved a car through the hotel, a Mercedes E-Class to the airport that I knew would be there waiting for me. 350 ringgit or 78 US dollars. But I got to the airport on time. The total price that everything I paid for was 2,270 ringgit or 505 US dollars. If you add in what I would have paid for the hotel had I been paying cash, that would have been $1,158 for the hotel. It would have brought us to a grand total of $1,663 for 5 days in Kuala Lumpur. Overall, really cheap for an amazing stay in an amazing city. And yes, I could have done it way cheaper had I stayed in a cheaper hotel and had I taken less grabs and taxis, but that's not what I was trying to do, and that's not what I was trying to show you. I was trying to show you how much I spent on my trip and how much it costs if you're doing the things I did. All right, and that's $1,663. Well, fellow explorers, if you want to dive more into my Kuala Lumpur videos, you'll find some of my favorites on the screen, links also in the description below. And as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video.